When deciding on appointments at the top of China's Communist Party, there's an informal rule known as 七上八下, literally 7 up, 8 down. What it means is those in the party's top decision-making Politburo Standing Committee can stay if they're aged 67 or younger on the day of the party congress, but will need to retire if they've reached the age of 68.
My view is that she is more likely than not to retain the existing age norm, because that's going to help him to avoid his allies being too close to the center of power for too long and potentially becoming rivals or being able to establish themselves as potential alternatives to Xi as leader.
The Politburo Standing Committee currently has 7 members. Mr. Xi himself is 69, and he holds 3 key positions: General Secretary of China's Communist Party, Chairman of the Central Military Commission, and President of China. All positions he's expected to retain. But if the retirement rules remain for others, this would mean the party's number 3 ranking official, Li Zhanshu, and chairman of China's legislature, the National People's Congress, will step down. Likewise for Executive Vice Premier Han Zheng, who is 68. However, the party's number 2 ranking official, Li Keqiang, could also step down from the standing committee, even though he's only 67. The move is expected by some observers, as Mr. Li, who is also China's premier, confirmed he will relinquish his post as head of the State Council when he completes his 2nd term next March. The post is governed by term limits under the country's constitution.
There was a legacy of a division of labor between the General Secretary and the Premiership. And Xi Jinping changed that in his 10 years, that the economy has to be run by the General Secretary too. That whoever is going to be the Premier knows that the Premier is, if you like, the equivalent of the COO for managing the economy, with the General Secretary doubling up effectively as the CEO.
So when Mr. Xi and the new standing committee meet the press at the end of the party congress, who walks out behind him as the party's number 2 ranking official and take over as the country's premier will be closely watched. The role especially important as China faces economic headwinds with an ailing property sector and fallout from its zero-COVID policy. Going by past convention, analysts say frontrunners for the role are among those who have experience as vice premier. If age is not a factor, some experts say 70-year-old Vice Premier Liu He, who has led trade negotiations with the U.S. and is a close confidant of Mr. Xi, could be a contender. He is a member of the Politburo, the party's 2nd most important policy-making body. Current Executive Vice Premier Han Zheng could be another pick if he doesn't retire. But if age is a consideration, Mr. Han's colleague on the Standing Committee, Political Advisory Body Chairman Wang Yang, could be in the running. Although many analysts have pointed to 59-year-old Vice Premier Hu Chunhua as being a frontrunner, the former Guangdong Party secretary is the youngest member of the Politburo and spearheaded Mr. Xi's poverty alleviation program, despite coming from a rival faction, the Communist Party Youth League, a power base for Mr. Xi's predecessor, Hu Jintao.
Communist Party factions have always been existing, and I don't think it will vanish in a short time. But I would say that as Xi Jinping has further consolidated his power and entered his 3rd term, actually all the factions are below his authority.
The remaining vacancies on the Standing Committee are likely to go to rising stars who enjoy close ties with Mr. Xi. These include 60-year-old Ding Xuexiang, who is Mr. Xi's top personal aide, as well as 62-year-old Chongqing Party Chief Chen Min-er and 63-year-old Shanghai Party Secretary Li Qiang, who both worked closely with Mr. Xi when he was party chief in Zhejiang Province in the early 2000s, although Mr. Li's prospects are seen to have dimmed slightly after his handling of the Shanghai lockdown. But all this is speculation, as analysts tell me that China's elite party politics has become more opaque under Mr. Xi. But they seem to agree that no successor to the Chinese leader will be named at this party congress, as Mr. Xi looks to hold on to power for a long time to come, having laid out a blueprint for China's development till 2035 to basically achieve socialist modernization. Olivia Xiong, CNA, Beijing.